Hey, Mr. Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater. How are you doing? Welcome to Radio Futuro here in Chile.
Thank you, man. How you doing?
I'm fine, very, very fine. We are here to talk about the return of the band to this side of the world with your new tour. So, first of all, how do you feel about coming back? Sure, you have good memories here, good friends.
Yeah, actually, the last time we were in Santiago in December of 2024, those two shows were some of my favorites of the entire tour. So yeah, the fans are so great, and we're so excited to come back in April with a completely different show, completely different set list, completely different production, and we can't wait.
Well, sounds good. Yeah, let's talk about that. This time you bring your last album, Parasomnia, released last year. So tell me about that. How do you feel with all the process of this
Well,
album?
we're excited to finally be playing it because we recorded it in 2024 and then went on tour for the 40th anniversary tour. So we pretty much had to sit on this album for a year before we can begin playing it. But now we're finally in the position to be playing it, and it's great live. It's just the way it's meant to be seen and experienced. It's almost like going to a theatrical show, like a theater play, or almost watching a movie. It's a very theatrical experience. And on top of that, we also are doing the 30th anniversary of A Change of Seasons, and we also have a complete set of other songs from our catalog that were not performed last time. So it's a completely new show for everybody.
Great, great. Sounds like literally a dream theater put
Yeah,
on stage,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
exactly.
great. Uh, okay, Parasomnia was a big challenge because you had to be at the level of the high expectations. Everybody was expecting something really big with you back in the band. So there was a lot of pressure, I
Mhm.
guess. I don't know. How do you deal with that? With
I
all
mean,
those
we
expectations.
we knew there would be high expectations, but we really just thought about ourselves. We just wanted to make a record like we used to when I was in the band, the first time around. So we just really wanted to embrace the chemistry that we have musically and personally. And we kind of just didn't pay attention to the expectations. We kind of just were inspired enough being back together again that's what drove us to make this record. And I think we rose to the occasion, and I think it's a great record.
Mhm. Sure, sure. Talking about the great records, you mentioned it. A Change of Seasons, 30-year anniversary. This was a very special release. It was an EP, but it had almost 1 hour of music. It was like an LP, I
Yeah.
think. But yeah, it was very special. On the first side, it was a big suite of over 20 minutes. And on the other side, some covers of the bands that inspired you. So what do you remember from those from that
Well,
time from that album?
yeah, I don't look at it as an album. I look at it as basically an EP or just a one song. I look at it as just a change of seasons and then bonus tracks. But yeah, I mean, even though we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of the release of it, the song was written about 5 or 6 years before we even got to release it. So it is one of the oldest songs in our entire discography. It actually predates all of the songs from Images and Words. So this song is, I guess, about 36 or 37 years old at this point. So yeah, it brings back a lot of memories for us. It was the first time we had ever written like a big 20-minute epic, and it was also a very personal song for me, with the lyrics being written about losing my mom in a plane crash when I was a teenager. So yeah, it's got a lot of personal meaning, but also a lot of nostalgic memories for us as well.
Hmm. Great, great. I'm sure it will be a great show. Well, we are here talking with you, a guy that has a big career on his back. You have played in a lot of bands, so we want to ask some things about your career. A lot of prog bands, but also you have played in some different bands. You played in Avenged Sevenfold, for example, in Twisted Sister. In you played thrash with Metal Allegiance. A lot of different things. In which way do you think these other adventures in different music genres have helped you in your career?
I even played with the band on your shirt. I did a show playing drums for Overkill, even.
Really? Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, thrash and metal, that's a big, big part of me. It's a big part of my background. Even when we formed Dream Theater, back in 1985, we formed Dream Theater as a prog metal band. But that's just because that was the common ground between me and John Petrucci and John Mayung. But at that point, I was listening a lot to the thrash metal scene, whether it be Overkill or Nuclear Assault or Flotsam and Jetsam, Slayer, Megadeth. I mean, that's what I was listening to in '85. And you can even hear the thrash influences on the very, very first song in the very first Dream Theater album, A Fortune in Lies. My drumming is all fast, double bass, upbeat, thrash drumming. So that's always been a part of me. And I've always kind of tried to inject that part of what my background into Dream Theater's music, and being able to do other projects outside of Dream Theater. I was able to play with Avenged Sevenfold and Twisted Sister and Overkill and Stone Sour and Fate's Warning. These are all bands I played drums with throughout those years. And Metal Allegiance is the biggest of them all. To me, that's the biggest outlet to be able to play the heavy side of what I do. We play these concerts every year, and I'm playing these gigs with all the guys from Testament and Megadeth and Slayer and Pantera and Exodus. All those guys play with me in Metal Allegiance. So I think it's been important for me to have that side of what my love for metal is, to have that as well as what I do in Dream Theater.
mhm. Great, great. And what other kind of band would you like to play in? Something you haven't done yet?
I would say probably the other biggest style that I'm a big fan of that maybe I haven't done too much of yet is like power pop, like the kind of stuff that maybe like Jellyfish, a band like Jellyfish, or Badfinger from the '60s, the Monkees, that kind of power pop kind of uh sound, like Weezer, Foo Fighters. That's a style that I also like and maybe haven't had a chance to do too much of. I would say the closest I've gotten is I did an album with a band called Big Elf. They have a little bit of power pop influences, and also there's a band called Fuzz Bubble that I played with during the pandemic and recorded some stuff with during the pandemic, which is also kind of in that vein. So maybe that's another side of me that you haven't seen before.
Oh, interesting. Well, talking about bands, what about Rush? Rush is returning this year. It's amazing. We are all crazy with that. I ask you as a fan, we know that you love Rush. What do you think about that? It's very crazy. I don't know. Will you have liked it to be part of that?
It's extremely exciting. I mean, I as a fan can't wait to see how they do this and what it's going to be like. Neil Peart was not only one of my biggest drum heroes, but he was somebody that I was honored to become friends with, in the last decade or so of his life. So, yeah, as a fan of the band and as a friend of Neil's, I'm very happy to see them doing this, and I can't wait to hear what they do.
Mhm. Yeah. And did you see the new drummer, Nika Niles?
I've never seen her in person, but like everybody else in the world, as soon as the announcement was made, I started pulling up videos on YouTube and saw her playing with Jeff Beck and doing, the jazz fusion kind of stuff she does. She's obviously a tremendous drummer, so I'm really curious to see how it sounds.
Mhm. Okay. And tell me honestly, with hand on your heart, how many people asked you to to talk with
Yeah,
Rush to play there?
I mean, yeah, before they announced their return, it's a question that I would get asked in almost every single interview,
Yeah.
for the last decade. Would you ever play with Geddy and Alex? Would you ever? Of course, those guys are my heroes, Yeah,
Yeah.
and but I'm you know, in all honesty, I'm kind of glad that they didn't even ask me because that would be way too much pressure, way too much pressure. So uh, this is much better this way. I get to enjoy it like a fan.
Yeah, sure. Now you're focused on Rim Theater, of course, but can we expect something in the near future from your other bands, like the Winery Dogs? I don't know, Flying Colors, Liquid Tension, Neil Moore's band, any of those?
Um, I'll do what I can when I can. Even right now, uh, I was able to record a new album with the Neil Morse Band this past year. While I had a break from Dream Theater, we reconvened and wrote and recorded a new album for NMB. So that's coming out next month. Actually, NMB is Neil Morse Band. So that's coming out next month, and also. Just this past week, there was a new Metal Allegiance track that was released. It was myself on drums, Alex Skolnick from Testament on guitar, William from Alice in Chains on vocals, and Mark Mengi, the founder of Metal Allegiance, on bass. So, and I'm doing a show with Metal Allegiance in California next week. So I'm able to still do these other things when I can, when I'm available and free from Dream Theater schedule, which of course is my priority.
Good. We will be with the eyes open and the ears open to all of that music. Going back to Dream Theater and this new show, you said that this will be a whole new experience, a very cinematic experience. Tell me, in your opinion, how difficult is to find new ways of presenting a live show of music? Do you think that maybe the industry of live music needs to have a refresh or
Well,
something?
there's there's kind of two questions. The part of it that's about the industry, that's out of our control. It just keeps evolving and going through changes, that have to do with the world economy and things like that, and streaming, and it's obviously constantly evolving and changing. But for us, we can only do what we do, and for Dream Theater, we're very fortunate to have this incredible fan base that allows us to still do big shows and big productions. Um, you know, People complain about ticket prices and things like that. Yeah, it's tough that concert ticket prices are so high, but the fans need to remember there's no income anymore for the music. All of the music is just given away for free. Back decades ago, you would have the income of the records and the releases to help supplement a live tour. That no longer exists. The fans just expect all the music for free. So really, the only way for bands to make any kind of income and be able to put on a show is from the live concerts. So that's why the tickets are more expensive than they used to be. Gas prices for the tour buses and the trucks and the crew people. It's a very expensive show to tour, the way we do. But luckily, we have a great fan base that will come out and support us and allow us to be able to do a show like this.
Mhm. Great, great. Well, Mike, that's all for us right now. The last thing, can you make an idea for a radio station? Call it Radio Futuro and make an invitation for the people to go to the show, please.
Yep. Hey, everybody, it's Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater. You're listening to Radio Futura, and we are looking forward to seeing all of our great fans in Chile when Dream Theater returns to Santiago this April.
That's it. Perfect. Thank you very much, Mike. We will see you here in Santiago, okay?
Thank you very much, man. Ciao.
Okay. Ciao.
Bye bye.